8 लोग इस तरफ, 8 लोग इस तरफ, परफेक्ट बैलेंस, मैं बीच में बैठा हूँ. हाँ, 4 इस तरफ, 4 इस तरफ. Thanks for that correction. Optimizing business operations through technology, and ERP continues to play a significant role in this process of optimization still. Ladies and gentlemen, Jai Hind. Today I have with me 8 stalwarts, 4 is taraf, 4 is taraf, from the technology background and very diverse experience, who in the next 1 hour will share their views and experience, anecdotes and more to answer some of the very important questions of how ERP still plays a significant role in optimizing business operations. So thank you so much, and I'm sure that the next 60 minutes are going to be really intensive, invigorating, and informationful. So my first question to you, sir, Mr. O.P. Singh, is manufacturing companies want to automate, modernize, and be an industry 4.0 factory. However, they do not want to or cannot replace existing legacy systems. How should a CIO enable this change management process so that the mindset can be shifted and this initiate can be started?
So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Harmeet. I think this is the toughest question of this panel. See, as far as any changes you need in anywhere, the change management part is the most toughest part. If you can win that particular piece in the overall project or change, half of the things are done. So as a CIO, what I have seen that when there is any change, first thing you have to take in confidence the top management of the organization. You have to create such a platform where you can get the buy-in. And before that, because you have to also, you are now the CIOs are not just a IT system manager, they are look as a transformer in the organization. So to drive the digital transformation, you have to create certain business case and certain KPIs which you can clearly demonstrate. Today, where we are, you'll have to do that assessment, and tomorrow what you are proposing. And of course, you'll have to interlink every aspects of your change with some value coming to the organization. So this is the first things. Once you start with the top management, they have got your buy-in. The next part would be you'll have to create some sort of a momentum in the organizations. We are going to create a better future with better technology to drive our tomorrow. So that sort of a themes you have to create and change the mindset toward that people can accept or they can adopt whatever the organization is going to bring in the future. And once this is done, then best next things will fall in plate automatically. I think this is what I will suggest.
So Rahul, what's your take on this?
Yeah, okay. So I totally agree with what Sir is actually adding up to the conversation. See, for any of the organization, ERP is the bread and butter. In fact, it's the main core component. Now, in terms of ERP, if we talk about, we can have two approaches. One is we live with what exactly are the standard. We make them standards, but it doesn't open up the customization which we need. Now, in terms of customization, the buy-in is the chain management which needs to be done because no one cares about anything but an outage in the system which is going to have business loss altogether. So if we are able to control the chain management along with procedures and timelines and the smooth change over to the new system, enhancements which you're doing to the particular ERP itself, then you're actually being able to reap the benefits which you have. At the same time, you also open up the risk of customization and bugs and everything like that. But eventually, the organization gets benefited if they are able to foresee what exactly the future or what we are trying to achieve at the end of the change.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Second question, and we're kind of trying to link this up to create a logical flow of the discussion today. So the question is to Samir ji, to you. ERP implementation can be one of the most intensive and laborious process when undertaken by any organization. And one of the key pain areas of a CIO or the core team is to remain on time and on budget. So how does a CIO look at that? What are the factors he should be looking in so that the project remains in green and everybody is motivated to do it?
Thank you, Harmeet ji. It's a very, very important and very critical question when it comes to with respect to the ERP implementation in any of the organization. Now, what happens is, first and foremost, any system which you have been implementing in any of the organizations, I think most of the distinguished CIOs are already sitting here. So we know that everything which is related to technology is the responsibility of IT. Okay, so first and foremost thing which comes to the initial part of implementation, just before deciding what system you have to inform all the stakeholders that this is not only the IT project, this is the organizational project, okay? And everybody has to be involved in that, first and foremost thing. So everybody is accountable, whether it is the CFO, whether it is the marketing head or sales head or manufacturing head, or so that everybody knows that it's not the responsibility of only the CIO to run this and make it successful, and everything will be available on a click of a button. Okay, now how it is related to the two components which are very, very important in any of the IT project, the timelines and the budget. We know the technology implementation is more like interior designing for our home. Okay, the requirements are unlimited and you keep on adding things at the last moments also. Okay, you would be ready for the home warming of the ceremony, but still you are doing something at, so it is relevant to the ERP implementation also. Third thing, whenever we are planning with such kind of a initiative, we have to basically have a good project management team which is able to handle all the things related to an ERP so that we close before the timelines and within the respective budget. Okay, so their responsibility is that to inform all the stakeholders about all the updates which are happening. Okay, all these things are before we venture into who is going to be the partner, which product we are going to buy. Okay, so all these relevant. I hope I'm not continuing too long, so I will wrap it in 2 minutes. Okay. So just to build up the tempo so that we reach that particular area where we want to focus on the timelines and the scope. So these are the things which affect any of the project. And ERP is a very big project because it's resource intensive. The resources are involved, manpower resources, the money, okay? And I'm coming from a promoter-based business, okay? So I know that I have to deliver within the budget, otherwise my job goes for a toss, okay? So then the next thing is, what is the objective of this particular whole exercise? What are we going to achieve out of ERP implementation? It should not be taken as that some company like us have done the automation, so we will also go in for Oracle or SAP or whatever. So the objective of the organization has to be clear what the business is going to benefit of it. Till the time you are not clear on this, I think you cannot venture into. I think Vipin sir can add more because, Vipin sir?
So Vipinji, can you put some context to this, on time and on budget?
See, if you look at that, what is an ERP? ERP is just the automation of business processes. Who owns the business process? It is the business. So the biggest mistake organizations do is that they make ERP as an IT project. The moment it becomes IT project, it goes haywire in all dimensions. Timelines, cost, delivery, performance, all goes for a toss. So the first and foremost thing which you do is that you identify the right stakeholders. And right from the time that you define what you want out of an ERP to the time you evaluate, the stakeholders must be part of this. Number two, make it a top-driven approach. And somebody from the business side, a senior guy, maybe a vice chairman or the CFO or the head of materials, he should be made the head of the steering committee, the owner of the project, not IT. IT should play a subordinate role while implementing an ERP. So once they are the head, what you will get in return, you will get good code game. Because if you go and approach to the business that I want core team, dedicated core team, first answer is no. Second answer is GET. Third answer is the lowest people who possibly don't understand the process itself. So the question of maintaining timelines or cost doesn't rise at all. So the first question is transfer the ownership of this project to business. The moment they are transferred, they are owning it, you will have access to the right people in business. Then the second is decision making. Once you're implementing an ERP, at each stage there is decision making required. Who takes that decision? Not IT, of course. That decision has to be taken by the steering committee or by the operational committee headed by business. The moment this hat of ERP implementation, the benefits coming out of the ERP, the timelines and cost are transferred to business, this project will go absolutely smoothly without any problem. And the moment you transfer all of these responsibilities onto an IT head, all these 4 parameters will go for a toss. And ERPs will keep on going on and on and on with no performance and into the picture. The once business is there, it is their responsibility to stand up and say that in my area this is implemented and this is the benefit I'm getting out of it. Give them appreciation, give them responsibility, give them visibility, have a strong governance structure and have a strong communication structure. Whatever the core team is achieving or the business people are achieving, communicate to the whole organization that this is what they have achieved. That is where the ownership, that it is my project, that comes in. The moment that comes in, you know, timeline, cost, benefit, all will fly in time, I'm telling you.
Yes, Mr. Singh, you had a point of view on this.
Yes, I think most of my friends, they added. One more thing I'd like to share with all of you from my experience. Whenever you embark on that ERP journey in the organization, my experience is before that, you should reserve 10% of your budget for your process discovery. If you can do that beforehand, I think the rest of your project will fall in place because you know exactly what you need. Based on that, you'll be able to timeline, you plan the project, cost estimation, everything will come in synchronous. That is where I think most organizations fail because they start the process discovery when the project is started. So my advice would be the first you do that part, and after that you go for your product evolution because you know this is what I need, and that will be the key for keeping your project on the track. That is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Rai.
Another important point is cleansing of master data. This is rather more critical because you have changed the process the way you wanted. You brought in outside in view what is happening with the industry. You are trying to adapt 1 year before what you are doing. But after doing everything, if you are not, your data is not clean. Clean means it should have all the master data with the correct information in place. That is rather more crucial for quick success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, we'll come to the next question, which is a very interesting question. I am sure that all the panelists here will have views on this. And this is a tussle between the cloud and on-premises. So the question to you, Varun, is to you, which says that whenever we are looking at ERP for cloud or premises, the idea is to improve the accessibility, scalability, and cost effectiveness. I mean, that's how all the cloud service providers come and sell it to the CIOs. So what are the factors that as a CIO one should look to consider A, moving from the premises to cloud, or B, the integration between the two?
Good afternoon all. So first of all, I think role of the CIO and the IT organization is changing now. Like business wants them to be playing a role of more of a business partner. So I think the days are gone when IT was mainly supposed to keep the lights on. So as a CIO, as an IT function, you need to see where you want to spend your energy. Because end of the day, how organization will measure is the output you give to the organization from the business point of view. So when we have these professional services like AWS, Azure, Entity and all, so I think it's always better. Who has more experts, then you can keep it on-premise within your team and also keep it 24/7 running. So it's always better to hire these professionals, and then like you, as a CIO, you and your team can spend more time in redefining or the digitizing the business processes at the end, which will bring more benefits to the business.
So I think for me, it's very clear, like when we have such good professional players offering these services, why to have it, why to manage it on premise? It's better to have it on cloud. What was your next question?
So what are the factors by which one should consider either moving from on-premises to cloud or the integration between the two?
On the integration part, I think like we ourselves tried integration with few portals. So there is a pain when we do the integration because coordinating between two different products and with the cloud provider in the opening various ports, services and all, and ensuring we have the right connectivity and all, that is little bit of pain. But once it's set, then it's all okay. Like with on-premise, you have more flexibility. You can easily, quickly integrate. So there is a pain, but on a long run, to ensure your system is up and running, your data is safe, you can sleep peacefully at night. It's better to move on to cloud rather than having things on-premise.
Ranganathan sir, very interesting. I'll put this question with a different context to you. Same question, but what are the pitfalls that the organization or the team can go into when it is moving from cloud to ERP with specifics to integration?
Okay, thank you. Let us try to understand ERP as one box, and we have other applications. Let's take this as an example. First, which is going to help you if you are moving to cloud? That is the question which is answered. Number two is integration. Before we look into the integration, we have to see what is the data movement between different set of servers which you have got. For example, ERP is a baseline. For example, if you are going to have a PLM system, and then when you are trying to integrate that with the existing ERP, what kind of environment will be more suitable? That one has to see. This is one kind of scenario. The second kind of scenario is we are collecting data from machines, and then the consolidation of information goes and gets updated into ERP, because ERP is the a baseline for us. The third important factor is you are getting yourself connected to many of the government portals, starting from digital signatures, etc., etc., etc. Having said that, whenever you have a two-way communication between the systems, it will be good if you have an on-premise kind of a solution. And if the data is always moving from one to another one way, then the cloud-related solution will be more meaningful. It is in the larger perspective I'm trying to explain. What is a pitfall? Wherever you are finding performance-related issues, for example, when you are generating an invoice, within 30 to 40 seconds, you want digital signature also has to happen, and along with that, you have to do e-way bill also has to happen. So you have to see which is going to help you in the right way. In this scenario, the cloud adoption is going to help you. When you are trying to do manufacturing and integration, on-prem related kind of solution will be more meaningful. This is with my experience. Yes, a difficulty will be there in all scenarios. The less problem will be the one which I have explained. Thank you.
So I like to add a couple of points here. When you are looking at on-prem versus cloud, another two factors I think should be considered. One is about your business also, how fast it is growing, okay? Because that is something which again will help. For example, if you're on cloud, maybe you will have more flexibility because your business is more seasonal and you are having a growth trajectory which is upwards of high growths, double digits, triple digits, etc. So there cloud can come and help you. While in on-prem, if you are having a fluctuating business, then it can be a stumbling block for you in the long run. So this is also one of the consideration you can see when you are talking about between an on-prem and on cloud. The other factor also to be considered is that what are the other applications in your IT landscape? Are you overall, as a CEO, you're trying to vision more cloud, or you are still having a lot of legacy systems on your on-prem? Okay, So what will make sense at that point of time will also be one of the criteria how you want to do it. If you are mostly on-prem, continuing on on-prem makes sense. But as you are moving, we are seeing more and more SaaS applications, etc. It will definitely make more sense to move on cloud and move forward from there. These are the 2 points I wanted to add.
Kanna.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Yeah, here I would like to add here. In fact, I'm pro cloud. When I'm talking about cloud, that means cloud as a you can say the hosting at a cloud, not as a ERP on a SaaS model. So I prefer that yes, ERP should be moved to the cloud, but as a hosting model. As he's saying that the other your all ERP other applications, good if you move all other ones also on the cloud. That is, I feel, is a cheaper one if it is on a cloud. To take care things which one should take care, that is the agreement. What I suggest that, I have an experience, you should be very much clear about the all line items when you are going with any cloud providers. Whatever the line items he is suggesting you on a BOM, have a complete understanding how these line item is going to affect you. Possibly take a maximum cap, some maximum cap amount also, that this will be there, because when you download the data, then sometimes it happens that it will start charging you some absorbent figures. When you have a maximum cap, they have the all features or all you can say that controls that they will immediately inform you that something is wrong happening, or some big data, some of your is downloading, or maybe by mistake or something like that. So my advice is that you should be very much clear about each and every line item of the BOM which you are signing when you are going for a cloud.
Yeah, that is a very interesting hybrid case. We started exploring on AI for visual analytics. The biggest problem with AI visual analytics, we do not know what is the hardware requirement. So the whole of development cycle and testing cycle, we went for cloud, and we used the capability of the cloud elasticity, and then with experience in 3 to 4 months, we identified, because the AI visual analytics on production floor using cloud is not possible. So for testing and development testing purpose, we went for cloud. Subsequently, we brought it to on-prem and then used the capabilities. We know what we wanted. That way is another way of looking at it. Thank you.
So I have a follow-up question on this, very specific to MES integration. So the context here is that a lot of manufacturing companies, they are using legacy MES systems, which could be provided by their knowledge partners from overseas. And these systems are written in legacy technologies. And they are just doing what the production is supposed to do. One of the problems which the business leaders face is the real-time stock availability. What is the component level consumption, rejection? What is the productivity? Are the lines performing properly or not? And if all this data has to be integrated from MES to the cloud service provider, because this is where the dashboards will lie, that bill is going to really go up. So how do you control that?
See, a very good example. Practically what we have done, I will try to explain. The biggest outline of MES is controlling the machines. Your MES is going to control the machine, number one. To control the machine, it requires data from ERP or the periphery systems. It has to collect data from different periphery systems. There are quality related parameters available in some system. There are certain standard operating system which has been maintained, and there are some. So whenever we are trying to control a machine, this means this is a bidirectional data movement which is taking decision. This is, we have to remember this outline. Number two, when you are trying to consume a MES on cloud, that model is also getting matured to be, because they have Edge also incorporated in the whole process, because there are certain decisions which has to be taken within milliseconds, but other than those details, the data is stored on the cloud. So this is a three-way model. One is cloud, one is edge, the other one is the ERP or periphery systems, which are contributing to each other. But if you see, the important critical data is there on the edge, which is very crucial for immediate decision, because once for example, when we are tightening a screw in the machine, MES will instruct the tightening screwing machine that 45 RPM you have to tighten the screw. When it does that, till the time it is completing 45, it will tighten, and then only machine will stop, loop will come back to the MES, then it will give instruction to the machine that the next operation can start. This is not possible in if you are in cloud. So the edge, some of the advantages of cloud is also used to make it more meaningful.
Thank you so much, sir. Very elaborate. Anyone else who would like to have a view on this? Yeah, please go ahead, Rahul.
I would. So, see, I differ a bit on the MES part, because, see, in our plant locations, what we have done is we have actually moved the MES on the cloud itself. Now, what we need to take care of is the connectivity or the uptime which you need for having the PLC systems, talking to the MES itself. So what we do is we have a Kepware system which is sitting on the on-prem itself, which is collecting and communicating with the PLC data. And it is interacting with the MES itself. But at the same time, the machines which we are talking about, which are actually being controlled by MES, they are also transmitting a lot of data which is actually used for your data lake and for a lot of analytics which you need to do for the data, and reduce the time which is there, in fact, for the outages of the machine itself, based on the parameters and the kind of customization which is available. So for me, as cloud is actually evolving a lot, it's all about connectivity. If you have it, I think it's more scalable and it's more available as a MES system instead of having it on-prem altogether.
Follow up on this one, Rahul. Have you moved the legacy MES to the cloud, or you've adopted a new one?
No, we adopted a new one. So MES system are majorly being governed by the OEMs like Siemens and everyone else. So we opted out to go with our own, customized MES system, which is hosted on cloud now.
Any counter views on this one, sir? Because I knew this question is going to be really a hot one today.
See, it all depends. My asset is always on the move. Unlike, I have to take a decision immediately. Otherwise, the battery which is getting charged, if the temperature goes beyond a threshold, charging should stop. Using cloud we tried, but it had just given us a better response time, and then...
Yeah, so hearing both you gentlemen, I think it's more to do with the business case and the reality of the challenge that you're facing. Yes, Mr. Khanna, please go ahead.
Basically, actually, as I have seen it, so MES, I prefer that is more a LAN type of activity, because lot of activities are happening there and there itself without interacting anything, only within those machines itself. So final data, that should move to the cloud. So I did this in the earlier organizations, but the main part which is happening within the machines, that we have done there itself. We have not taken that to the cloud.
Anybody else who wants to take this?
See, whether it is MES, whether it is your ERP or any other application, a cloud deployment should always be with a vision, and it's always a journey. So you have to plan what goes first, how it goes, what it will do there, what is the cost, how it will talk to adaptive cloud computings, or it come back into the hybrid model. So you have to first create an IT model. That vision you have to create, and then start moving. Just saying that on-prem is better or that is better is not the right approach. Every organization has got case-to-case basis. So first create your vision diagram, how you want to perceive your IT maybe in the next 2 years, 3 years, and then start aligning all these components, whether it's ERP or MES or anything else, and then see how this whole stack operates. So cloud is not just an overnight journey, it's a long journey, you know.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to labor on this question because fundamentally, I think a lot of people still remain in fog as far as the cloud implementation costs are concerned. We do not know tomorrow what bill is going to come and hit us. That's essentially what the cloud is. And as he said, that every line item has to be read, upper cap needs to be in your control so that there are no unpleasant surprises for any one of us sitting in this room when they're going for integration between on-premises with cloud. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for deliberating on this one. So I'll come to my next question, which is again a debatable one, which happens between customization of ERP and standardization of ERP, because a lot of solutions that are being offered again by the service providers try to motivate us towards moving on the standardization. So my question to you, Ashish, here is, organization opinion could be divided towards customization and standardization. In ERP implementation for business needs, industry requirements, customer requirements, or any other unforeseen situation which may come in the future, what are the factors that should be considered to choose either of the two and why? How does a CIO get the flexibility in place with respect to standardization and customization?
Yeah, okay, thank you. I think multiple times people have alluded that technology implementation or technology transformation is not standalone, it happens together with the business. And I think that is also something which is very important for us to decide whether you're going for a standardization or customization. See, standardization is when you have a business process which is not mature. As an organization, we understand these are the areas where we have not matured to that level. At that point, standardization can help. Why? Because there will be best practices which will be across industry, which will be across from a technology point of view, which can come in and help you improve your business process. I think many times it was alluded that it's always about a business case when you are doing an ERP implementation or any technology transformation if you ask for. So how is this technology transformation helping? If my process gets more mature, it gets more efficient in that process, it's always better to do. Having said that, there are also organizations which have matured over the period of time, and there are certain things which differentiate that organization in that industry. So there are certain practices which come within the business, which will be different. You will not get it in other companies within the industry or even across the industry. At that time, customization is a must, because that is something which I want to secure as an organization, and I want my IT to be aligned with that. And that is where we should look at customization. Of course, the benefits and pitfalls, I can tell you, see, when you are doing standardization, the good thing is, now you've got an ERP which is standardized, so tomorrow and upgrades will be that much easier. You want to work on standardized things, tomorrow you want to develop more, enhance more, becomes that much more easy. While with customize, you are stuck there and you will have to put your own resources to do it. It's not the ERP partner who is doing the research and development for you, it is you who has to put money and try to improve what is there, okay? But with customization, again, coming back, you will have more flexibility. As your process matures or moves in a different direction, as you respond to your competition differently, you can always then align with that, okay? And this is also something which comes from the mindset, okay? That in my point of view, start with an approach that have standardization first, evaluate it, and then, yes, if it doesn't suit you, if it is not helping you, then you go for the customization. But you have a reason or a mini business case or a mini business benefit which you're getting out of that customization, and that is why you're going there. And that is how you can get the maximum out of your ERP implementation or whatever technology transformation you are doing. Because you have given chance for standardization to happen in the organization, which will make my system more robust, more scalable in future, easily upgradable, less maintenance costs, blah, blah, blah. But you have also, responded to the business needs, which will always be there. So you will not have where all standardization will happen. So you will have answer somewhere in between where business needs will define what customizations to do and where to do. And I think that is, from my point of view, the deciding factor where you should go and how much you should do.
Thank you. Vivek ji, same question in a different context. A lot of CIOs or IT heads believe in having customized teams hired on their payroll, and some of them believe that this should be outsourced. So how does a CIO decide that if it is customization instead of standardization, it should be on-premise or it should be on cloud?
So basically, first I would like to say that it is very easy to say that we should adopt purely standardization, but difficult to do. Most of these ERP, they are not of Indian origin. They are of European or Americans. And there are the things in India which are unique to India. So one has to go for the customization. Here we are talking of table customizations, not the firms. So for example, in India, that there are sales schemes, sale incentive schemes, which I have not found in any of the ERPs. There are channel financing. Now all of the organization having this, but that is not there in the, any of the ERPs. Even cash discounts, we in India now have 15 or even 20 slabs. So definitely you have the customization in the place. Now now it comes up that how much is to be done. How much is to be done, that if it is related to your business and it is you are tweeting purely the front end, as I'm saying, this is mainly sales. Yes, manufacturing side also, there are customization which are unique or which are to take care of that manufacturing industry. But if complete module you are changing, complete module, then I say that you have to relook into. You should not go for that. Something is wrong in the ERP you have chosen, or maybe your process is somewhere wrong. And now it comes to your question whether this customization, you team, ABAPers, or you can say that technical persons. So one has to have their own team, because that is the person who knows your starting from the end, that what changes he has done. In India, documentation is not so good. So whatever that already customization he has done, he has to need the change, he can do. But if you take it out from somewhere else, the another person will rewrite, or then you will keep checking it. It was a tedious task. So you should have your own customized peoples.
Yes, sir, please go ahead.
See, first let us talk about the question which you asked to him. When you look into that, why we are doing customization? Let us take an example of my company. We have 40 customers. All 40 customers are bigger than me. That is problem number one. I have no say. Number two, if I do a customization to satisfy my customer, I should do or not. That I had to take decision. This is a problem number, because my existence is because of my customer. The product is not giving that capability. The third one, this is a challenging, there are certain customization where you can educate your customer, boss, this customization I have done, this is better than your customization. We have done that, and then we have succeeded. The OEMs have accepted, yes, what you have told is right. In 3 months' time, we will try to adopt that. Till the time, do it manually. So this is one way of doing for this. The second question which you have asked, what approach we follow is, whenever you are trying to do any new technology deployment, take third party, get it done, simultaneously get your in-house resource trained. It is not possible for you to do all the work yourself. When you have to identify how you have to do that. I will take one example. Group level, if one process is going to get adapted in 40 plants, I have 70 plants, then I will ensure that the in-house team is created. Third party is doing the deployment for one plant, remaining plant, the person who is there with us is doing the remaining deployment. This is one way. When I know that, if we go for MES example, I know that MES will not be put to use in all 80 plants, 70 plants, not possible. I know that only 3 plants I'm going to have. At that time, I never keep any in-house resource. I use third party only to do that work all across, because sustaining a person for MES is a nightmare for us. So it all depends how you identify the problem, how you are trying to make that possible, cost effective, that you have to look into.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So Vivek, just a follow-up question. You brought out a very good pain point here, which is in India, the documentation is missing, right? And I think that's a industry-wide phenomena. And it's like climbing the Himalayas, looking towards the sea level and climbing upwards. So is any CIO actually looking at getting the documentation done, or they just want to solve the problem and get over with it?
I feel 99% nobody, basically in India, if you are in a Europe, yes, people do documentations, but there the problems and the scope and that is very limited, very specific. In India, expectations are so high, and even whatever you think that you can do, the other one is asking you double of that, and he's thinking that you are not able to do it, or you are not giving him a full attention. So I don't think anybody is able to do documentation. Plus, the resources which you are getting in India, if you ask him, then you can do documentation, you have to have a separate person. You have to have everything for each and everything, for testing, for your quality testing, complete separate teams, then you can do documentations. But it's little costly affairs. And
Comes down to the commercial decision, right? Okay, anybody who's, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
I just want to say that I think documentation is very important. And I think simple rule, if we can try, like we try that very much in our company, and a lot of people hate me for that in my team. In ERP also, simple thing, no TR will get moved until I have a FS and TS for that particular T code. If we just put a control on that, and actually it has to be top down. And over a period, because many times you see attrition is uncontrollable. People will keep moving, keep coming. So the other person who comes, so it is always helpful. So I think we can just try this simple thing. Nothing will move until I have these two things.
Is that so easy to implement? Mr. Singh?
Sorry, before that I will take, you see, that is possible. What he said is 100% possible. You have to have the intent. The biggest problem is we don't want to put ourselves in a fix, because I have instructed to get this check incorporated. I had to give it in writing. Boss bhi nahi deta, मैं भी नहीं देता, नीचे वाला भी नहीं देता. Problem ये है.
so basically that, yeah.
Actually, sorry. See, of course, we are skipping that part for our comfort. But if you see today, I think that compliance and regulatory are going to push you. Today, whenever we go for any audit, those are become mandatory for ensuring that you have got a full record of your change management. The moment you ask for that change management part, the other thing will fall in place automatically. So that is, I think, is improving in our case.
When I'm talking of not purely the BRD and quality checking everything, I'm talking of documentation of the technical part, purely the code part which he has written. So that code part is always a missing one. And that the theoretical part, that is business requirement documents, that is always there in every, because of this audit. And not only this, all good organizations, that they are keeping it. Even the who has done the testing, who has done the UAT. But if you ask the ABAPer that do you have a complete code part, so, and if you check it up, whatever he has given it, and finally after 2 months, you will find that has got changed. Because the things which keep coming to him, he just keep correcting, and then he start moving out.
I think
To make some sort of a framework. I don't think the documentation of coding is done anywhere. That is impossible. So, in no, no, but you can. I think that is. I think it's become a little bit a tough job, and it's a high. Yeah, but even in the coding itself, you can have certain framework to be implemented through which they will try to create some of that noting in itself. This is for this. This is the logic has been built. I think that.
Sorry, Pile.
Yeah, sure.
The problem is when you are having a version control of the software which you are maintaining, when the latest version fails, are you in a position to roll back to the previous version? Today, we are finding it difficult. Whoever has got this documentation done right on software coding level, they are in a flip of a second go to the previous version. Sorry, you can take it.
Yeah, Rahul, you can add, but I'll just forget my point here.
Sure.
Well, I have seen this happening now a lot. That, whenever the IT teams are giving projects to the in-house coders, they open ChatGPT and they start doing the work. So please, link this up to documentation, because ChatGPT today writes the entire code and gives it to you, and there's no documentation required.
Correct. So, manufacturing organizations are actually evolving nowadays. So first I'm actually going to answer the previous, pointer which is there. So we have to be compliant, be it anything. So we have audits, we have everything. At the same time, I've seen a mindset in the Indian organization is that, when it comes to application coding, we don't use the in-house team. We go out, big fives are there, in fact, we just take someone, in fact, and ask them that this is my requirement, you do the custom coding and we are done with it. The problem which happens after that is we don't take the ownership. So what we see is, okay, fine, you maintain the code, you're gonna maintain the application, you take me, a AMC from me, in fact, that's it. But if something actually goes wrong, we don't own it. And that's the problem. So what we did in our organization is we have a team. There is one point of contact for each of the application who is responsible for all the codes. And all the codes, versioning which we have, in fact, they are put in the repository itself. Now coming to the second question which you actually asked. So yeah, it's a mentality of everyone to go on the internet, use already built-in code, and start doing the customization which is needed as per the project. But what you can do is you can have cybersecurity which can actually work towards your framework. If there is a malicious source code which is there, in fact, you have a lot of posture management software available which can actually detect those particular things, and they can alert you in advance itself. So you have to put in the controls to to the particular employees or the developers which you have in the organization who can utilize the open source code which is available over the internet itself. You can't stop them, but you can try limiting yourself to the exposure.
Anybody from here? Yeah.
I'll just give one point of view. I think documentation is a never-ending topic, to be honest. I think if you ask anyone, everyone will say, yes, we want it. And then when you say that for documentation, can you delay the delivery by a couple of days? No one will accept it. Okay, but on the same, I'll again give perspectives. As soon as I go to consultants or a big fours, the first thing we tell them, make sure that you do a good implementation. When it is your in-house team, sometimes you say, okay, I'll allow you to do it later, let's move ahead, it's an urgency. So sometimes we are in this quagmire where we are between the devil and the sea, so to speak, that you sometimes take decisions. But from an overall point of view, look at it from a project management point of view, in our ERP implementations, for us, documentation is very important, because when you're making customizations, etc., if you want to visit them later on, if you don't have a proper documentation, you will struggle. Your time to change will increase. So at that point of time, you would have saved some time, but later on, it will hit you back if you have not done a good documentation. So sometimes it's a question of now versus later. The other perspective also is, now we are moving to methodologies which are different from a waterfall and moving to agile, right? Where you will see more and more documentation is less and the proof is in the product itself. See the product rather than what has been documented. If what I want as a customer, you can show me on a screen and I can play with it and I can do with it, you get a sign off rather than showing me a document which I have to sign off a BRD or whatever, right? So we are evolving, but is there a definite answer? No. but I think this is a space which will keep evolving. Certain places which are technically very sensitive have more needs for documentation, and places where we are evolving into more, flexible, evolving technologies, there we will find alternatives to documentation by which we can achieve the same objective.
Yeah, thanks for summarizing
Harmeet ji,
this.
I would like to add one point
Go
here.
ahead, Sameer.
See, documentation has to be updated at regular basis also. That has to be an important and critical part for the CIO to ensure that. And what Varun has mentioned, that whatever system he has implemented, the same kind of a system we have also implemented in our organization, because we faced a challenge where some change was done in the system and that was not updated. And once we wanted to revert back or wanted to understand who has done that and who has given the permission, so we were not clear on that. So now we have a change management system implemented in our organization where documentation part is also, there is a tick. So till the time that tick is not there, so we are not able to close that particular change management request. So it has to be updated on regular basis, otherwise it becomes, we don't read any of the documentations which we have been provided by all the OEMs. We don't read it till the time we face any challenge in that.
Yeah, please go ahead. Paucity of time, please.
Yeah. Actually, like when we were young, we studied in software engineering. If you catch a problem during a requirement stage, basically the time to then complete a project or the overheads are lesser. So when we are working on a new requirement, if we document it, then we actually analyze what is the process going to be. Rather than if we just start implementing, then we again come back. So basically, many times it happens, there is a lot of time leakage which is happening, which we don't recognize. So I think that's also one motivation to document.
That's absolutely put very nicely, and thanks for that. So another leading question, and we'll start with Vipinji on this with you. What we have seen is that a lot of organizations have implemented ERP in different phases. Somebody sitting on 50% utilization, somebody sitting on 80%, somebody sitting on 25%, or somebody is just happy they've taken the entire product, the product suite is taken, but it's not fully implemented. So how does an organization prepare itself for the implementation of ERP so that the ERP can actually become a bedrock for the other digitization initiatives, the future digitization initiatives like Power BI or artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, data science, etc.
So as I said earlier, ERP is about automating the operating processes in an organization. So once you have the business teams involved, one thing will definitely get sure is that you will implement an ERP. Now, what is the vision with what you are implementing? What is the benefit? Is it only about implementing an ERP and getting the operational reports out of that, a general ledger, a party ledger, an outstanding report? Is that what you want, or you also want the business benefits? Now, all organizations are not able to visualize the business benefits an ERP would give you in the ultimate analysis. When I say ultimate analysis is, an ERP is the mother application. It is the base application around which a whole ecosystem of applications can be built. Whether it is the automation of your vendor side, automation of your customer side, or within the system also, how do you align your requirements based on the demands of the customer? How you align your production based on the need of the market, and based on the all your production plans, how your material is coming in, so that money is not logged into your raw material inventories or the finished goods inventories. Now, some organizations operate an ERP with this huge definition right at the start, and other organizations, they evolve with time. Once they are done the base layer of automation of the ERP, most of the functions in the ERP, let us say finance, materials, inventory, production, sales, that gets automated. So they are quite happy. The operational reports have started coming in, checks and balances are already in place. So, and the leakage part is done. Now comes stage 2, what next? And this question evolves as the problem definitions in a business are getting discussed. So what is the evolution? How do I link my production to just-in-time inventory? Where is the money locked in business? It is in raw material inventories, it is in excessive manpower, it is in finished goods inventories. If I can produce just in time and produce what the market wants just in time, I'm streamlining the entire cash flow position right from a raw material to the finished good. If I do that, my cash flow position drastically improves. I have worked in organizations where they had severe problem of cash flow, severe, and their production was very high, but it was not getting sold because what the market was wanting, they were not making those products. As a result, the organization kept on going down. So we brought in this whole process of just-in-time inventory and produce what the market wants. The company was able to release 140 crores out of that. Then comes stage 2, advanced supply chain planning, very, very important. Complete automation. If you look at the manufacturing sector, for example, especially the automotive, the bill of material will go into 6 or 7 layers. How do you optimize the running of the MRP so that your inventory comes just in time at the time the production is to happen? So ASP becomes point 2. Third, how do you understand the market sentiment, the customer sentiment? So I have done certain projects, where we were able to predict that this individual who has walked into my dealership will buy my product in the second week of July, and with the accuracy of more than 90%. So it is an ERP is only the base layer. But now if you look at the evolving nature of the enterprise today is not within the 4 walls of a boundary. It has extended. It has gone into the vendor side. It has gone into the customer side. Look at your employees. They are not the all employees who are coming to your office. Half of them are in the marketing space. So how are you integrating all of that? Employee experience is also one of them. So when you're implementing an ERP, keep an eye on that you are not going to limit the extent of the ERP within the 4 walls, extend it to the vendor side, extend it to the customer side, extend it involving the entire employee ecosystem into this. Then the true benefits of ERP will start coming in. And anyways, ERP is the marriage of the organization. Everybody gets involved.
Thank you. So I'll push this question to yourself, Vivek, and then we can take Mr. Iyer's view as well.
So already he has covered many of the things. My session is always there that in the after implementation of ERP, it is not the done job. You have to continuous training is the major thing, and training is not only purely the core users or the people who are doing the activities. Training is required for the process owners or the head of the departments, that what are the functionalities, not purely basic functionalities, but advanced functionalities. All the benefits which Vinit has just mentioned, they can be utilized. People are actually not aware of that, what they can take out. You take the case of an MRP. Everybody says, yes, MRP is running in my organizations. But if you go deep dive over that, you find that they have run the MRP in once in a month, and thereafter they are taking out everything on an Excel and then placing the purchase orders. They are not using completely. Another example is that of purely of chart of accounts or a trial balance. In ERP, it is integrated accounting, which methodology is normally used, and their inventory, cost of goods accounts, your raw material consumption cost, your semi-finished consumption cost, even your conversion cost, labor absorption cost, machine absorption cost, everything is coming on the chart of accounts. But in most of the organizations, I personally have found that the accounts team, they are not using it. When they are making a monthly P&L, they simply, what they do, they simply club it or aggregate everything in the cost of goods sold accounts, and whatever the analysis the system has created, they just leave it out. If they do those analysis, and that they are not doing because they are not aware of that, how it is one can do it, that for that they require training. A good training to them, that how they can analyze or how can they take out the variances from all these accounts, definitely can save 1 to 3% of the organization very easily. So this is my, apart from that integration, whenever the ERP is implemented, after that we should integrate ERP with all the digital platform we have the organization. It will create a lot of automations. It will create a knowledge base or even knowledge intelligence because of cross references. So one should go after implementation ERP, how the best one we can take it out or how best we can utilize, we should target that only.
Yes, sir. Last words on this one from you.
Yeah, when you deploy ERP, who actually uses ERP? The lowest level people only will do the entry. Everyone might have seen. That will happen, it is going to happen for future. How we have to ensure that it is successful? We have to, I am going to relate to a practical problem. My daughter or son comes to me and they ask something. Immediately we never do. Or your parent will tell you to do this job. Will you ever do that? You will never do that. Third or fourth time only you will do. What does this mean? This means you have to constantly review whether this is happening or not. Then only things will happen. For example, if you are putting a ERP, how to measure? For example, unless and until I get some benefit, I will not do any job. This is a practical problem. मेरे को कोई फ़ायदा है तो करूँगा, नहीं तो करूँगा नहीं. क्या फ़ायदा है? You have to educate your senior management. First, boss, you have to understand, without going to a plant, you can understand what is happening in the plant. When you say that, he will come with how this is possible in ERP. We have to give some example. Boss, somebody is doing GRN. After doing GRN, bill has to get booked. In
seconds. We're already up on time, so last 30 seconds from you.
Yeah, I'm going. So you have to give measuring criteria. If you are not doing in this time, this will be evaluated. I am doing a GRN, I am cancelling it. Somebody is verifying why this has been cancelled. Invoice is booked, it is getting cancelled. Why it is happening? Production order is generated, it is cancelled. This is one way of negative thinking. The other way is how quickly we are doing the job. How much is pending? Everything you can see sitting at this place also I can see. So this education we have to give the management. When top management instructs, the other people will follow. So the top has to change.
Thank you so much for the wise and words full of wisdom in the last. And this has been really a revealing session for all of us. So कई बार भगवान इंसान से गलती जानबूझ के कराता है, और जैसे मैंने कहा था 8 इधर और 8 इधर, तो that is how I say I felt that I don't have 4 and 4 people sitting next to me. They were actually 8 and 8 this side. So that's how I clear my position as a salesman. So thank you, gentlemen, so much for this lovely session, and I hope that this session for all of you has been intriguing, intensive, and information-full. And whatever views that you have got from all the 16 stalwarts sitting here, I would say please take that home, but relate them to your particular business case, your scenario, and use the pearls of wisdom given by these gentlemen here in your context. Thank you so much.